Hey everyone, it's Michael and
Lewis
from Bullion Now, bullionnow.com.au, bringing you the best bullion bars, coins and hot gossip shipped to you everywhere around the world. Welcome, Lewis.
Hello, nice to be here.
Thank you for dropping in. So for some of our earlier viewers from probably, we were just discussing before, about 18 months ago, they'd remember we did an interview with Lewis back then. So just as a quick recap, Lewis has kind of been around the Bullion Now family since almost day one. Very, very early on. So, Lewis, why don't you tell us? The first time you joined us, can you remember it?
I remember the first time I came here in Melbourne was on a school trip.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was for about a week, and I had to pester my teachers to come down here even though they were shopping down at Southern Cross. So... Apart from all the insurance and all of that type of stuff, I'll tell you, it was a bit of a hassle to convince the school to come down here, but we made it work.
Yeah, it did. So it was quite funny. Lewis was only, what were you, 15 at that point?
16, I think.
Yeah, 15, 16, yeah, somewhere around about there.
15, that's right.
15, yeah. So this 15-year-old kid comes strolling into the store with these two teachers and announces he's here because all his schoolmates are up at the DFO, the factory outlet, shopping away, and he convinced these two teachers to escort him down to the bullion dealer and come and buy some silver. Yeah. So that was the start of, what was that? That'd be four years ago.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's a little while ago.
Start of, and Lewis has been around since then. He did work experience with us, didn't you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was very different, really different, but it was good different. I really enjoyed it.
It was pretty chaotic, and it was good fun though. So Lewis came. Tell us about yourself. What's your background? Give us the brief synopsis.
So I'm down from Adelaide. I've always lived in Adelaide, born in Adelaide, and I currently work in hospitality. So I really enjoy dealing with customers, but it's very different to working in precious metals. It's something that it's that stark contrast between dealing with money, like dealing with customers and their financial possessions and the way that they want to move forward in their financial security and that type of stuff, in comparison to just dealing with customers and their dietary requirements like food and drink, all that stuff, food and beverage type. So I really enjoy precious metals. It's something that I've gotten into when I was around 13 years old, and I've just carried it through ever since.
So how'd you get into it? What triggered it? Because it wasn't the trip to Bullion Now, as much as I love to take credit for it. It was, how did you first start?
I first started when I was, what did I say, 13 years old, and I was I remember just getting into it by my mum when she bought a 10-ounce silver bar as a gift for my cousin one time. My cousin's very young, but it was to try and get him into precious metals. However, she never told me about it because she didn't think I had any interest in it. Due to the fact that I loved playing video games, and it was just...
Yeah, that's right. You're a bit of a gamer, weren't you?
Yeah, it was... Yeah. Anyway, so I remember she just bought this silver bar, and I was like, what is this? What is it? And is it some antique product? Is it some... I had no idea, because it was like a Pamp silver bar. I just thought it was some type of jewellery type. It was just for looks.
Because your folks aren't into stacking, are they?
Not at all. Yeah. Not at all. And so it was just... there was just an interest sparked through there. So ever since, I just started looking on the internet, like, what is silver, 1 ounce silver bars, and my first purchase were 2 1 ounce kangaroo Perthmint silver bars. Which
there you go. Oh, the bars, not the coins.
Just the rectangular
bars. Yeah, you don't see them these days at all.
Yeah, so, they're my prized possession.
The last thing to sell out of the stack.
That's it.
Cool. So yeah, Lewis came to us again, like I said, doing work experience, and that blew your socks off. But you are the only person we've taken on for work experience, because once the insurance company found out after you'd left what we'd done, they gave me a fairly big smacking for it. So they weren't impressed that we'd had a work experience kit on out in the back rooms and things like that. So you're one of a kind.
Glad to hear, I guess.
So you did work experience here that didn't drown out your desire for precious metals?
It just ignited it even more. Yeah.
Good. So you went back home, back to Adelaide. You've worked there a bit more. Sorry, you were in school, weren't you, at that point still? So you finished year 12?
Finished year 12, but during year 12, I focused my main research project, as it is in South Australia. I focused that on precious metals and how global instability impacts their safe haven attributes. And I remember I talked to many different interviewees and that type of thing.
Who did you interview? Give us a bit of the key points, because there was a few people in there I was amazed that you got hold of.
One was Craig James from ComSec.
Yep.
Gemma Acton, 7 News. So I think she's a finance reporter or editor. You?
Yeah, I was part of it. Did you talk to someone from Perth Mint as well?
Oh, that's right. Jordan Alicio,
yeah.
And I remember one of the former customer service representatives at the Perth Mint as well.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Mark from Bullion Traders.
Yeah, Bullion Traders. So I was actually quite surprised at the level of person that you actually got into.
I really tried. It was tough, but yeah.
No, you did really well. And I got to say, and I said this on the last interview we had, the quality of that report was incredible. So you did yourself proud on that one.
Oh, thank you.
Some good research. So we should actually see if we can get your permission to release it. Because it's definitely well worth a read. What was summarise your conclusion on it? Can you remember?
During the COVID pandemic, I remember gaining a heap of different... But there was a number of things that went on during the pandemic. There was that silver squeeze during early 2021. Yeah. There was the initial outbreak of COVID, and that decrease in price, that early decrease in price when it dropped below $19 Australian an ounce. It really... I don't know, it was just like... It was a turning point in the industry. People just started diving into metals and that type of stuff. And I remember Perth Mint, they were telling me that they had record sales. All records were broken in the Perth Mint was quote unquote what I was told. And they struggled to keep up with demand and that type of stuff. And when world uncertainty is at a record high, that's when you see safe haven assets like gold, silver to an extent, but in particularly gold, that's when they shine. And that's when I also interviewed a senior economist down at the Commonwealth Treasury. Yep. And that's what he told me about the World Uncertainty Index and how that impacts and the Australian perspective economically on how that impacted on people's financial situations and how they want to move forward and that type of stuff.
Yeah. No, you're right. When we panic as humans, we run to gold.
That's right, exactly.
And we can see that in... I was surprised at what you reported the economics guy had actually said. It was an interesting read. Yeah. I found it fascinating. So, what mark did you get for it?
Oh,
you don't want to say, do you?
I can't say. I feel weird to say. But...
He did very well.
Yeah.
So you finished year 12?
I have.
So what was the next stage after year 12?
Uni. So just studying Bachelor of Business Finance at the moment. So
how are you finding the university? Have you tried your university lecturers with precious metals, and how receptive were they?
I try to be a bit wary just because
Chicken.
Yeah. Just in case they decide to, look into my personal info and that type of stuff. You might tell a student or two and they go like, what? What's this? What's that? They're like, wow, this kid's like different. I was like, it's only the other week I brought that up with someone. He's like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah,
like nobody actually, there's not many people that you talk to, especially like younger, like teenagers that actually look into that type of stuff. And it surprises me because I've always, for a long time, I've always been immersed into precious metals, and to talk to someone that has no, it's just interesting.
I find it fascinating. Even when I was going through university like 100 years ago, and I did business while I was there. I studied business, and through all of the economics classes I took and accounting classes I took and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if there was one topic that actually, like one semester, that even mentioned precious metals, gold. In particular, and even that, I only remember one small thing, and it was like one lecture on it. That was it. Like, this is something. So there's even in the academic circles, there's not a lot of awareness of the precious metal. So never mind amongst the young. which is why we actually have this channel. We're trying to encourage more and more of that education.
Yeah.
So it's really good to see someone of your calibre and age coming through and actually being aware of it and talking about it. So we'd absolutely like to encourage that more.
Yeah, thank you.
So what's next? You've started at uni. You obviously haven't completed that yet, or you're an incredibly young 25-year-old. So you're still studying now
Definitely.
and enjoying it?
Loving it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Good. So let's change tack. What's in your stack?
Lots of silver, lots of... a little bit of platinum.
Yep.
Into a little bit of platinum. You know, I as per what you always like to talk about, like industrial demand and electric vehicles and that type of stuff, I like to... Just a little bit, just to add a bit of flavour.
Yeah.
My favourite piece, though, would probably have to be the 1 ounce platinum tiger.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You scored one of those, didn't you?
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, they're a good buy, those ones. And a shameless plug here, the Platinum Rabbit will release October 3rd. We can start talking about it.
Yep.
And sometime mid to late October, they'll actually get released. Okay. So, yeah, like I said, shameless plug. If you're interested in those, absolutely grab one. They will they'll sell out incredibly quickly, within days. We'll all be sold out of them. So, a bit of a shameless plug on that one. What about gold? Have you got gold in your stack?
No.
No?
Not at the moment. I don't know. I just feel like at the buying a kilo here and there, I just feel like once, I don't know, just in a little bit of time, I just want to wait and see what happens to gold. Gold's going down, especially like silver and platinum, but I just want to wait and see what happens.
Yeah. So you and I are going to differ on this, because I don't think gold's really going down. I mean, it has come back a little bit.
Like, it's pushed back.
Yeah,
I've always been used to silver. My first purchase was silver, so it's just I'm always used to talking on the phone and just buying a bit of silver. But I don't know, it feels different buying gold.
You and I'll have an argument about this later, off camera. Good stuff. So where do you hope to end up, both with your stack and in your career?
Ooh, I see myself stacking for a very long time. I can always see myself up until I retire holding precious metals.
It's going to be like a cornerstone of your investment portfolio.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I always see precious metals as a way to preserve your wealth, grow your wealth, and physically back your wealth. And it's recognised worldwide, and it's readily available. You can't take fiat currency around the world and have it recognised, even though you have to exchange it and currency exchanges and all of that. Gold, everyone recognises it.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't recognise an Australian dollar if you head over to the US.
That's right. Yeah. No,
I'm not putting it across the best way, but
no. Yeah. I understand what you mean. Like you can only really use Australian dollars in Australia.
Yeah.
But you can spend gold, and I have done. You can literally spend gold around the world. It's very, very, very transferable. It's great. Yeah. Okay, so your stack will always be there. Will you move? Do you anticipate moving into gold over time, or you'll stay with the silver, or build up more platinum, or what are you thinking?
Over time, I can see myself starting to buy gold. One day, hopefully, one day I score a pretty decent job. Then we can talk about gold. At this stage, silver, platinum, yeah.
Yeah. All right. And your career? Where would you like to see your career head?
I don't know. I'm doing the Bachelor of Business. I honestly, I'm not 100% sure where I am at the moment and where I'm heading. But I know I want to be in that field. I want to deal with numbers. I want to deal with customers and their financial well-being and that type of stuff. So hopefully something down that path.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's a conversation with another one of the Bullion Now family. We do these every so often, a bit of an update on where he's been. As you can see, young guys or young people are becoming more and more interested in precious metals. I remember, and I've said this before on camera, when we first started Bullion Now, I was probably the youngest person to walk through the door. Yeah. Whereas now we're seeing far more younger people like yourself and far more females taking an interest in their financial futures and actually learning about precious metals, amongst other things, but precious metals. And it's really good to see. And you are a good example to hold out there and say, hey, it's not just about old men in dusty old rooms collecting silly old coins. So thank you very much for joining us.
No, thank you, Michael.
And being part of our interview series.
Yeah.
Tune in again. We'll see who else we can interview. That's it for now. See ya.
See ya.
You good?
Yeah,
Sure.
I guess.
Love the confidence.